Hello YouTube, my name is Dave, and today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing this Everlast 210 STL welder. With that said, let's get to it. Let's open up this box. Alright. Let's see what we have so far. Some instructions. Put that over there. This is our box of accessories. Alright, so just to recap, we have our instructions over here. The mystery box, which I think has the accessories in there. We'll check in a few minutes. And then the main piece of hardware, the machine, which is the first time we're going to take a look at this. It looks like it's well packed. Substantially Alright, here we go. Now some good foam padding along the side. Hopefully I can get this off. It probably should be a two-person job, but I'll try to get through it. All right, here we go. Alright, here we go. We see the name on the side, Everlast IGBT inverter technology. We'll turn around and have a look at the back. Alright, so here's the back of the welding machine. We can see that the power switch is right here, on off. There's a gas inlet just below, right here. We have a nice power cable already attached. Certain welders do not have the cable already attached. This one does. Comes with a standard welding plug. Let's see what it says here on the cord. Alright, it's a 12 gauge, 300 volt cord. Just wrap that back up. Alright, we are going to look into the accessory box, but before we go on to that, I do want to mention again how nice it is that we have a plug already attached for 220 power, or 220 volts. If you didn't have that, then you'd have to purchase something like this. It's around $30. You'd have to do it yourself or get an electrician to do that for you so that you could use your welding machine. So that is a real nice benefit that Everlast provides. Now, the moment you were waiting for, we're going to open up the mystery box. Right. So, the first thing I see, they've included a pigtail adapter, which obviously you can plug in to your machine so that you can go from 220 to 110 volts. So it makes it pretty useful, very portable, because you can bring it over to somebody's house, maybe do some welding for them, a small repair, something like that. So that is really nice. I did check. These things range from $50 to $100 to purchase online. It's really on there, so I'm just going to leave it on there. Let's see what we have next. We have our ground. It is coiled up, but I believe it is a standard 10-foot length ground. Has pretty decent clamping power. Has a copper strip in between both connections, so it should give you pretty good ground. Yeah. Alright, I'll put that over to the side. We'll move on to the stinger, which again appears to be about 10 feet in length, which is good enough for what we're doing. You might need a longer one in the future. Because it does come with a standard DIN style connections, you can always upgrade if you want to. This appears to be an alligator style clip. Alright, and then some of the advantages of this style electrode holder or stinger. is the various positions that you can put your electrode in. I'll just give you a quick example. There are 5 different positions. I won't go over all of them, but straight out, and then if you want it straight out this way, inboard, on an angle. It does give you some versatility, and also allows you not to bend the electrode. Whereas if you use one of the twist style, you'd have to bend the electrode to get it exactly where you want if you're out of position or in an awkward position. All right. Another thing I did want to mention, it was the cord itself, the wire. It seems to be that it's a number 1. Here would be an example of a number 2, much heavier wire. This one, as I mentioned earlier, is only probably around 10 feet. I purchased around 25 feet here. I don't know how well the camera will pick that up, but it is much thicker and will allow you to go work over longer distances. Better suited for what I like to do. Also, probably switching over the DINS connector, much larger DINS connector compared to the one that the unit comes with. You can see them sort of side by side there. Put that back down. And let's see what else we have here. Also the hose for the gas, which I probably will upgrade as well. It does come with a quick connect, but we probably won't be using this. It's nice that they provide it. It is a nice touch. For the price, is very cost effective. And that's pretty much it. That's in the box. So now we're going to hook it up and weld some metal. Alright, before we get going, I am going to plug in the machine to a standard Welding 220 volt power supply. You may not have one of these at home. This was installed by a certified electrician. I recommend that you have a certified electrician install your own. If you feel comfortable, do whatever you like. However, I recommend that you use a certified electrician. So now we're going to take our plug it in. And we're all set. Now we're going to attach our leads into the welding machine. So I'll turn it around so you can see the face. Oh. Maybe this will help with the view of the controls on the front. That looks like it comes in pretty good. First we have our ground. Clamp it to our table. Grab the stinger as well. Attach that as well. Keep that out of the way. Alright, so now we have a better view of the face of the machine, and we can go over some of the different buttons that will be found on the machine. Today we're just really going to stick with the stick functions. The TIG functions will be covered in another video. So first thing I'm going to do is turn it on. Remember, the power supply is at the rear of the unit. So it starts up right away. The fan is going. I hope you can still hear me well. See how the lights are on. And there we go. So it's already set up on the stick side. If you wanted to switch that over, you just hit the TIG function over here, right in the middle of the machine. And then now it switches everything over to TIG. As I said before, we're not talking about that today. So you might have noticed after I switch over to the stick function, it automatically lit up the 6010. This machine is capable of welding the 6010 electrode. All you have to do is click the button there, and you're good to go. Right underneath that, you'll see the VRD switch, which I'm going to hit right there. That is a voltage reduction device. We'll have to cover that in another video. However, it is a safety feature that is an asset on this machine, but that's a whole other video right there. And then the machine also has under here an anti-stick function. You can either turn that on or off. That is supposed to help reduce you from sticking the electrode into your work. I don't know if it works or not. We'll have to find that out after we start burning some rod. We will try that in a little bit. Alright, so as you can see, it is set on the amps right now. Right to 200, that's the maximum setting for this unit. I'm going to hit the button again. That gives us our hot start option. So that also, I have it set, it's already at 100. That'll go from 0 to 100. And you can change that. And then you also have the hot start time. That goes from 0 up to 2 seconds. So if you need to use that feature, you can play with it a little bit, see what works best for you. We will try some different settings as soon as we start burning some rod. And then lastly, we have the stick arc force. And you can see right here it's set for 49. That'd be sort of typical range for a 70-18 electrode. If we wanted to, we could move right over again, move it up in the 60s for the 60-10 electrode, if that's what you're going to weld with. Yeah, you would have to hit the button, make sure, that's very important, you don't want to forget that. Alright, so now we're going to lay down our first bead. We are hooked up to a 220 power source. We're going to be using some Lincoln Electric 7018 electrodes. Again, we're not sponsored by anybody here, this is just what we happen to have lying around. I'll go through the settings briefly. So it is already set up on the stick mode. We have it at 115 amps. We do have the hot start set at 75. We have the hot start time at half a second. And then our stick arc force is set at 50. And you notice it just reverts right back to the amp setting automatically. It stays for about 2 seconds. So we're going to just grab a piece of steel. Alright, so we have our 1/4 inch mild steel plate. I have my 70-18 electrode, 1/8 diameter, and we're going to lay down a bead. Oh, perfect. That way. Oh. Alright, now we're going to be laying down our first bead on this 1/4 inch mild steel plate. I'm going to be using one of those 70-18 electrodes from Lincoln Electric. It's 1/8 inch diameter. So let's get burning. I think I got most of it off there. A couple little spots. The weld looks pretty good. Looks like we got decent penetration there. Alright, so now we are going to be welding a 60-10 electrode on that same piece of 1/4 inch plate. All the settings are the same except we lowered the amperage down to 60. I'll just go through them quick. 75 on the hot start, half a second, and then the arc voltage is set at 50. So now we're going to burn another rod. and we'll see how it operates when the 60-10 setting is off.
Go.
Alright, so I had a rough start there. It didn't start very well. I felt that it was cold. The puddle wasn't very good, and I was fighting the electrode. So we're going to turn it around and try it with the 60-10 button on and see if I can get a better bead. Alright, just so you know, we're going to turn on that 60-10 button now and try to run a bead the opposite way, and we'll see which one is going to turn out better. Let's have a look. The profile looks a little better. The start was definitely 100% better. It was much easier to start with this particular function on rather than off. I could use a little practice making a weld maybe, but I still think that the weld was definitely better with the 60-10 button on, and I definitely noticed a difference while I was welding using that electrode. Oh. Alright, so we've completed all of our welds. This is our conclusion of the video. My initial impressions is that this is a great little machine at an excellent price point. We're going to definitely follow up with some more videos, getting more in depth with what the machine can do. Some of the other functions that we mentioned, obviously the TIG and then some of the other buttons that are on the machine. And we'll continue to move along, but initially I have to say this welding machine produced quality welds, and it was excellent price point. Could be upgraded in a couple of different things. Maybe the materials could be a little bit better, but basically for $575 Canadian plus applicable taxes, this is a pretty good welding machine so far. Check back in for more videos, and thanks for watching.